Hey guys, it's Luell and Falco, and I'm an Agile technical coach, and what that ends up meaning is I spend about 2 hours a day with each team, sitting with the programmers and programming together, usually in a mob, and just working on little pieces of improving the way they're doing what they're currently doing. And a lot of times that means TDD or refactoring. But as I've gotten better and as I worked with teams longer, I end up having to train people on the team to work as facilitators so they can continue the style of learning as I leave and eventually without me altogether. And so I've started to find some patterns as I train people, and I've put together a list, a cheat sheet of this on GitHub, and I'll put links in the notes below. But I want to focus on one very specific part of that, and that's unpacking when someone makes a leap. And so a lot of times you'll be sitting with 4 or 5 programmers, and one of them is going to see something that's like a nice improvement. And it is. It's a great thing. But a lot of the other people don't understand why it's true. And if you're trying to optimize to just get stuff done, that's great. You're done. But when we sit together, a lot of times the other thing we're trying to optimize, the most important part, is that we're all getting better. Because we're investing in us being better at doing the work that we do. And when you do that, you need to make sure that everybody understands these leaps. So you don't want to criticize the person for finding the thing or taking the bigger step, but you do want to step back and make sure that everyone gets to come along together. And so I want to show a very small example of this in a piece of code, and just to show sort of the depths that can occur, because sometimes someone's seeing 2 or 3 things put together, sometimes it's a lot of things being put together. And so let's go take a look at some code. So here we are looking at a piece of code called isAlive. And maybe as we're sitting here together looking at it, Thomas notices, hey, we can refactor that to just say return and we're done. And maybe some of you are looking at this and you're saying, hey, that's great, that's a lot better, a lot clearer. Or maybe some of you guys are looking at it and saying, what? Are you sure that's the same thing? So this is what I mean by taking a whole bunch of things and clumping together. Let's go back and get to the same place, but break it down step by step. So here we are at the original code. And step 1 is we have this conditional in here. Let's pull that out. Extract it as a local variable. I'll put the keyboard shortcuts for this stuff down in the corner. So that's step 1. We've extracted as a local variable, and now we can see if isAlive is true, then we return true. But since we already said isAlive is true, we can just replace this with isAlive. Likewise, if isAlive is false, then we go and return false. And so we can replace that also with isAlive. And now that we've done that, we can see that these are the same things. So our 4th step is to move it down and outside of the conditional block. Our 5th step is to realize that this conditional block is now useless. So we can take the whole thing and get rid of it. And then our 6th step is to realize we don't really need this local variable anymore. We can just inline that entire thing. And this gets us back to where we were, but instead of 1 step, we've unpacked it to all 6. And now hopefully all of you guys are following along and realizing why this refactoring makes sense and how we got from A to B. So that's all I wanted to talk about. Just remember, when we're sitting together, we're really focused on learning together, and everyone does better when everyone does better. If you're interested in this stuff, there's a whole bunch more videos I have on both test-driven development and refactoring. Make sure to check those out. And of course, if you're interested, you can always reach out to me on Twitter. I'd love to talk to you. Have a great day and happy coding.